Dianne Feinstein continues to be pressured to do something about her situation where she's AWOL, not able to vote, not able to help confirm judges. Recently participating in, I believe, her first blue sky AMA, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez should retire, questioned about Dianne Feinstein, saying, I think criticisms of that stance as anti-feminist are a farce. Her refusal to either retire or show up is causing great harm to the judiciary, precisely where repro rights are getting stripped. That failure means now in this precious window, Dems can only pass GOP-approved nominees. And that window could extend for months or a year. It could potentially last until the Republicans not the midterms, the presidential election, are widely expected to take control of the Senate and maybe the presidency as well. But one of those two would be enough there goes your judicial window of opportunity. We have a very narrow window, and these judges sit for many, many years. It's super consequential. And so I appreciate people like Representative Ocasio-Cortez pointing that out. She got an assist, probably not one that she would consent to, from Nikki Haley, saying that Feinstein should resign, and that's not sexist. Bear in mind that the only reason Nikki Haley is bringing this up is a way to attack Joe Biden and kind of Donald Trump, but without the bravery to actually point out by name that he's also as old that she says you should have to resign. In any event, Feinstein has missed dozens of votes. Because the judiciary panel of the Judiciary Committee is split 10-10, it means that only judges that the Republicans are okay with will actually get passed. And even their attempts to replace her with someone else were blocked by the fact that the committee is 10-10. And so we're at a real impasse here, Danielle. What do you make of it? What do you think should happen?
I have thought for the longest time, I don't understand why Dianne Feinstein is hanging on. She is 89 years old. She is clearly not in good health. Like, it is time to move aside. If you actually care about democracy, you care about Democrats and the future of this country, then you understand that it lays with the judiciary. We have seen the ability of Trump and Mitch McConnell to be able to take over the federal judgeships and how that has affected everyone at the state level, how it has affected us with the reversal of Dobbs, and how it is affecting the student loan crisis and going to be affirmative action and so on and so forth. I don't know what Feinstein is doing, right? And it isn't sexist. It's actually BS for us to say that it is. She's damn near 100 years old. She is not in good health. If she was in good health and able to hold on to her job, if she was out, because she sprained her ankle, then I would say, oh yeah, let's just hang on. She's missing dozens of votes, and we don't have the time. We don't have the time. So I hope, frankly, that Biden and the administration are working behind the scenes to usher her out the door and not just sit there and say, oh, it's going to be up to her. We are in consequential times, and we don't have the time to wait for her to make up her mind and do what's right.
Yeah, you're right. It's not an ankle. Like, shingles seems really serious. I don't begrudge taking a little bit of time off, but who has the expectation that she's gonna come back from this stronger than ever? Like, who thinks that? Like, she going into the major issue was not there. You said, you don't know why she's doing this, but I think we kind of do know why she's doing this, because every politician individually is the most important person in the world. They're all very, very special and very, very important. Yeah. And how dare any of us peasants imply otherwise, which is why I have a compromise, because I know that it's so important for these people to feel recognized. She should resign, but in return, every year at the State of the Union, she gets to stand up and wave. We all bow. Everybody claps. You're very, very special. And we're very, very impressed with you. And then we go back to getting judges confirmed. How about that? That would be my idea. The issue is that I am not in charge. And it is actually quite difficult to do anything about this. So just briefly, you might be wondering, have they experienced people being in office but not being able to serve for a long time? Well, yes, they actually have. So Senator Carl Munt of South Dakota suffered a stroke back in 1969. When Dianne Feinstein was 72 years old and was absent from the Senate for 3 years without resigning, which, by the way, I would be really angry if I was his constituent and he spent 3 years not there. Stroke is serious and everything, but maybe take the time off. President Biden was gone for 7 months in the 1980s after he underwent 2 surgeries for brain aneurysms. Still, at that point, he was very young. 7 months is a really long time, but in theory, he did serve for many, many years after that. Potentially, we would have been saved a lot of trouble if he had resigned and left politics at that point. But in any event, so it has happened. That said, what could be done? Well, Unless a senator chooses to resign, the only way to remove them from office is by a 2/3 expulsion vote. And you might think, well, the Republicans would take any opportunity to get rid of a Democrat. Yeah, but they wouldn't, because they love that she's not there to vote and she would just be replaced by another Democrat. So they're not going to participate in that. In its 234-year history, the Senate has expelled only 15 members, 1 for treason and 14 because of their support for the Confederacy during the Civil War. That was back when there was some shame for supporting the Confederacy. We've moved way beyond that. In any event, since the last expulsion, which was back in 1862, they've tried 13 times to remove senators for reasons from corruption to electoral fraud to being a Mormon. What a country we live in. In any event, all of those either resulted in the person resigning willingly or they survived the expulsion. And also, there's no out for the fact that California voters might be frustrated with her. They have no recourse to recall her. And so we're just sort of sitting and waiting to find out what happens. Any final thoughts, Danielle?
I mean, what I would love are for her constituents to come out and say, like, they want representation, and that right now with her gone, they have no representation, and to see what kind of pressure that would put on her office to make this decision, because it isn't enough for us just or high up, whether it's the media talking heads or, other members to say their feelings on this issue. I think that hearing from her constituents, if I were the Democrats right now, I would be going into California and I would be running, running commercials, running kind of campaign style ads and saying, Feinstein is missing. And because of that, our democracy is going to go missing and we can't afford it.
Yeah. I don't, maybe put pressure on her to save her legacy or something. They really care about legacy more than they care about the actual legacy they leave behind when they die. Maybe that would work. I don't know, but I don't know. I want to see some pressure from Biden. AOC doing these AMAs, on Blue Sky and stuff is good, but it's going to take way more than that.